So, hello everybody. I have a treat for you today. Something that is extremely rare here in the US, but has the potential to absolutely change so much. And you already know what it is, it's in the heading. It is nitrogen fixing corn. Sorry, I got some of it blacked out there. That is my personal information there. And I had to apply for these seeds. And anyway, as you can see right there, this particular strain is out of a Chiapas, Mexico. It's a yellow variety. And there they are. Look at that. Very interesting. I was only able to get 30 seeds of this particular yellow strain. I've also got several strains of blue black and a couple strains of white and two strains of green, which is pretty interesting. Now, I'm normally not a fan of growing corn. One, because it takes so much energy to grow it. It takes a lot of nitrogen to grow corn, which obviously, if you've got a nitrogen fixing corn, that solves that issue. And two, the bugs generally are really hard on it, especially the army worms. They just destroy corn. But this also somewhat fixes another issue, is a lot of these nitrogen fixing corns are very cool tolerant. They're grown up in the mountains of Mexico and South America, so they're used to generally cooler temperatures. So we can see might be able to plant them extremely early, and that might get us to bypass all of the insect pressure on them. Very interesting. But I thought you guys would be interesting in dropping corn in the bucket of dirt there. No, if you would be interested, and following along as I grow these. I'm going to attempt to keep the strains separate. The yellow with the yellow, white, so on, green. And even though I don't have many seeds, I'm hoping there's a good solid mix of genetics with the packs of seeds that I do have for each variety. I've got a couple of the yellow here. I've got 30 seeds, and you can see there's an orange reddish one. Very curious to see how these do. And I was actually contacted by the seed bank. They're looking for growers to produce seed, and I said, hell yeah. So we'll see where we go. I'm not going. We're in the end of July here, and it's a horrible time to be planting corn in Florida. But I'm going to start them in seed cells, and then put them in pots and see how they do. And this is just so I can hopefully get more seed. I'll have more control over the water, the soil conditions, and feeding the corn. We'll see, and go from there. Now, apparently, these nitrogen fixing corns, which these were, straight out of Mexico and South America, the varieties that I have, brought into the seed bank, cleared and everything, cleaned up, and then sent out. So I don't know how old these seeds are, and we'll see how they do. But apparently the stalks, they grow feeder roots, and those feeder roots grow a jelly that attracts nitrogen fixing bacteria from the air, and the corn feeds on what that nitrogen fixing bacteria does with the jelly. It feeds off the jelly, and the corn takes up the nitrogen. Very interesting, but I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm going to do it as controlled as I can because I have so few seed. This is all they would give me. Some of the other ones, the green and everything, I only have 10 seeds or less. This one I got the most of. And I'm going to try this one first. I don't know if they're day length sensitive or not. A lot of these South American heirloom corn varieties don't tassel and silk until later in the year when the days are getting short, which is obviously an issue here in Florida because by the time our days are getting short, we're heading into winter and the risk of frost and freeze. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, the best course would be is to grow these and eventually cross them with standard varieties that are more adapted to North America and go from there. But they're still relatively new. I mean, it's just been within the past year, 2 years that people have even realized there was nitrogen fixing corn varieties out there, and there's just been an explosion of interest. But there is extremely limited genetic material out there to work with. And of course, all the big plant biotech corporations are scrambling to suck up these genetics and add them to their massive collections of GM corn and add it to those various GM strains that they have. And then, of course, you've got private breeders and collectors and gardeners that are going to be interested in selecting out and growing their own types and spreading those around, which is obviously the best course. I think we can agree on. And see how it goes. All right. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how these are going to sprout. Don't know how they're going to grow. Don't know how they're going to like the hot, humid Florida weather, especially since I'm not 100% sure what their climate is where they're originally from. But yeah, guys, stay in touch and follow me, and we'll see how this goes. Has amazing potential. I mean, if I could stick corn in pure Florida sand and not have to worry about feeding it, that's insane. Especially if I can do it in winter when the insect pressure is low, because the gentleman I talked to get these seeds, it's possible that some of these corn strains, I'm not sure if this yellow one, but some of, I think the green he was mentioning in particular, are frost tolerant. If you've got a corn variety, and I'm geeking out, guys, on this, if you've got a corn variety that can take a frost, I mean, that would be phenomenal. You could grow corn during Florida's winter, not have to worry about the pest. You know, I mean, the potential is huge. Or to add the nitrogen fixing and cold tolerance to varieties better adapted to North America here. I mean, just the potential is astounding for, you know, backyard corn production, grain production. Really, really freaking awesome. So I'm going to stick these in, guys, and keep following. I will try very hard to keep you updated on these and see how they do. We'll see how long they take to sprout. Hopefully they do sprout well. And yeah, freaking amazing. Some of these varieties are literally brand new to the U.S. and people have never seen them, let alone, I don't think really any of them have ever even been grown in North America, let alone in Florida. So we'll see how they do. I'm very excited. We'll see, guys. Love you. Grow food. And heck, maybe growing corn in the next few years will be even easier. You won't have to fertilize it, right? Can you imagine that? Just the worst section of your garden you've got, and just go stick your corn in and get an awesome crop out of it. That would be phenomenal. All right, I'm going to stick these guys in. Love you. Pray. See how they do, huh? To those gardening gods and the one up above, the only true one, you know. And follow along, guys. But I'm definitely interested, for real. Tell me what you think in the comments about this. And hoping they do well. Especially the yellow here, because everybody's used to yellow corn here in the U.S. But especially the blue, black, the green, and the white. Very, very interested to see how they do. We'll see. Love you guys. Nitrogen self-feeding corn, basically. Nitrogen fixing corn. Crazy. Very interesting.